The birds are singing, the flowers are blooming. On days like these, Joe Yabuki is not burning in hell. That's right, Joe is officially back outside the prison, introducing himself back to all the people in the slums, as Danpei shows him the official boxing club. The boxing gym isn't exactly what a champion would be using, it's honestly a dump.
Are you serious, my brother?
But it's still efficient enough to work, and Nishi's here, dressed like he's Kiryu, just a bit fatter, respectfully naturally speaking, with a man at the door with a funeral bouquet for some reason, a letter, a message towards Tanji, and the unrational Joe Yabuki tries to kill the guy. It turns out this sweet message is from Rikishi, who's currently on the phone, still being a massive troll and rage baiter because technically Tanji Boxing Club hasn't been recognized yet. Rikishi's still aura farming because, you know, while Happy Wheels is running to try and fight Rikishi before Nishi socks some sense into Joe, trying to make Joe understand he can't fight Rikishi because he'll get murdered. But when someone comes back, you have to celebrate. Those are the rules because we're throwing a party with some of the strangest looking individuals I've seen in my life, because they look like they belong in a nut house. Danpei giving Joe a motivational speech of our party, dancing on into the midnight, Joe crying, not tears of sadness but tears of joy because he finally has a home for once in his life. But there's someone at the door. It's the wandering musician from the prison, the guy Joe beat under a quilt if you recall correctly. Remembering Joe's first days in the prison, trying to manipulate Joe into being a loner again, clearly someone's insecure. With an officer appearing, Joe helping Gorilla Hyde, who's on the run from the police, as the man leaves on his own terms. That's how George Harrison was born. Earthquake, you may think? No, it's just Nishi using jump rope so powerfully the actual earth is shaking. I mean, Jesus Christ, calm down. Joe getting more drip, waking up for the training, jogger behind Danpei in a bike like it's Punch-Out. Despite the simple training, it's being used to improve stamina and overall muscle strength in the legs. Am I right, ladies?
No.
Getting a nice breather for about 10 seconds until Joe finds out they have to train more. Danpei is heading to the Japanese Boxing Association to get their gym officially licensed, allowing them to become professional boxers, with Nishi being the one to train Joe, shaking the earth like a demon. And 1 second later, Nishi is dragging Joe towards the market, being introduced to Nariko and a guy who starts touching him for some reason.
In prison?
This is Nishi's boss, and since they're not professional boxers, this is where they're going to be working part-time. You can imagine Joe's personality will not work with this. Because while working and assisting everyone, Joe is getting pressured with too much shouting and... While the children are lurking to help Joe, Joe is now working in the back, so he doesn't actually have to face the customers because it would be a literal war making a fool of himself. And the children start playing matchmaker to get Joe a girl. Is that Scooby-Doo? Well, their first day of work could have went better, as they wait for Danpei to return, except the people at the door are the police. Danpei, for whatever reason, is pissed in a police station, uncaring, before giving a bomb of a right to Joe's poor jaw, trying to explain everything, talking about what happened. He walked in with a smile of optimism with all the other boxing club presidents, expecting friendliness and kindness, but he doesn't get that, as Danpei has a bad reputation in the boxing world for his behavior. I mean, he started begging and the commissioner wouldn't listen to him with the door slamming shut, metaphorically and physically, as Danpei in a drunken rage beat the life out of everyone, while Joe realizes what this means and, you know. And despite Nishi begging the laughing to stop, the laughing continues into the night sky. The reality of Joe's career being lost. It's safe to say that tragedy has broken Joe mentally, with the pair coming to give Danpei food, but he's been released by Yoko, who is once again Joe's savior, because that's all she does. But despite our heartbreak, Danpei has a new lease, because Yoko's grandfather, the Deltarune Big Show himself, wants to have a conversation, but unlike Spamton, his deals are going to be pretty good. And Joe does a disappearing act, entering the training room to find Rikishi. There is no alpha male in sight, however, but he does what he does best, rage baiting a guy into a fight, and just when it's about to happen, a savior occurs. Joe, despite being a complete asshat, is forgiven, because Santa Claus is a nice man. But not even him with all his power can convince the commission to change their decision. But remember the deal? Joe, Nishi, and technically Danpei could all join the Shiragaki boxing gym. Danpei being the shadow coach out of the spotlight. A rather devilish and cunning plan if you say so. It's a great offer, something that even Danpei will let happen just to secure Nishi and Joe's future. But Joe struggles with that idea as he hates owing Yoko. The boxing gym would benefit Joe a lot more. It's bigger and it's better. But do you hear that? Oh my god, he's got better. Jesus Christ, how does Rikishi do it, man? He looks like a model. Entering the room and talking, being told that Joe was asked to join the gym, as Grandpa gives Joe's answer for him for some reason. That's impossible! Skipping into Rikishi going a spar, and Joe rejects the offer, which was obvious from the beginning, as if Joe joins this gym, he's unable to fight Rikishi. That is something he cannot miss. Declaring they will meet in the ring somehow, Rikishi rage baiting as per usual, and it's fight time. Dampé giving Joe a two-piece, knocking him over the couch, warning him of Rikishi's growth, and those insults have started a war because Joe batters Dampé with a mega combo.
You idiot. You're honestly an idiot.
Wow, that fall was graceful. Dampé nearly fell out of the building, which would have been, murder. And despite Joe's flaws, he still cares. Nishi's crying, I'm crying, your mother's crying, you have subscribed. It's that emotional, isn't it? And Joe knocks this dickhead out. Despite the agony and the depression, somehow Joe will get Dampé his dream, because he's the best main character in sports. Now, how would you, an intellectual gamer with 200 IQ, solve this scenario? You are at a crossroads, unable to get a boxing license due to corruption, and one man. If you answered rage bait, the guy's best prodigy, you get a golden star. See me in my office later, naked. This is Wolf Kaneguchi, known child respecter and boxer. The only reason Joe is here is to watch Rikishi, or is it? Wolf against this mysterious opponent, easily dominating the man with ease, uppercuts and body blows tearing into this guy, winning the fight but losing the hairline battle because haha. Wolf is a part of Asia Boxing Club. The president of that boxing club is Joe's main opposition. But besides that, it's Rikishi time. It's no longer Rikishi time.
This is over.
With a KO in the first 54 seconds, naturally getting praise, and oh my god, it's the terrorist himself, the one responsible for making Joe suffer. But we hear in news, a fan wants Wolf's autograph. It's Joe obviously doing his best to troll Wolf, insulting his writing, his hairline, and maybe his balls before stepping on the autograph. Do you understand the plan? Rage bait so powerful, saying Wolf is nothing like Rikishi, and Wolf falls for it. And...
Wow.
Jesus Christ, that is a brutal cross counter exploding into life, with both men being knocked unconscious with the photos being taken. As Grandpa over here basically leaks that Joe couldn't become a pro boxer because of Mr. Otaka, and the media is obviously going to run with his story now, aren't they? Dampé being informed that he's got his license, it goes to show you that trolling always works, it's just a matter of when. Joe back, still in terrible condition, naturally exhausted due to the damage he sustained from the cross counter. That's a goofy ass cry. Joe, despite his damage, is still training, being banned until he actually recovers, delivering something for Noriko, riding on a bike. Listen to this voice. Truly emotional as Joe shows what's inside the bag. Underwear. Fantastic. Making his great escape into another boxing club. Using their equipment like it's nobody's business. Kicking and hitting a tiger drop on this guy. Joe wanting a spar against this guy. Using the power of rage bait to once again get what he wants. He's truly a genius, isn't he? Being forced to wear shoes and headgear. The opponent jabbing at his face, slipping with a body blow. Inagaki is the name, and he's actually pretty damn good with his smooth weaves and dodges, making Joe do front flips out the ring. Before giving punches right and left, taking off his clothes because that's how real men fight. I fight naked. As World War III breaks out, Joe knocking these guys down as they actually recognize him from the newspaper. Joe surprisingly not making an idiot out of himself before applying for the protest. The B rank, which is apparently really hard, so complicated in fact, Olympic medalists have struggled to pass it.
Do you know what? I actually could not care less.
Which, let's be honest, even if Joe isn't capable, he's got that determination. And it's officially the day. Joe is number 26 and Nishi is 27. And the first test, you may ask, a written exam. Truly a man's greatest fear, writing. Joe's a dumbass. Joe writing the wrong answers for defense, like offense is the only way of defense. Not slipping, blocking, or windmilling it. Only a little bit though. And as for how many knockdowns you get, Joe wrote as many times as you'd want. It's not, it's free, it's a TKO. And I'm gonna be honest, right, I know Joe's dumb, but you think they would have actually taught him the real rules of boxing before the exam. As both men are called to the admin room, Nishi is switching to C rank. It's Nishi spar face against this guy, avoiding the punches while Joe backseats games. Nishi isn't even being punched at all, going on the brawl, hitting demolishing punches with his hype man in the corner, making this man regret being born. He probably wants his mother. And that's the end of the C rank. Now it's B rank Joe vs Inagaki, who is not a bum. The fight beginning of Joe hitting nothing but air due to his opponent's superior skill, easily overpowering him with blows as Joe slips, getting back just to eat another combo without landing a single thing. The bell ringing, but if you know, Joe Yabuki is not the type of man to give up. It's not in his nature, as he has a trump card, the no armed guard in all its majestic glory. Look at that face. That is not a man who's given up. That's power. Inagaki falling for the bait, landing his punches as Joe takes them before a weave and a massive right, instantly flipping the fight into an execution. Inagaki literally getting murdered and chased by this demon. The fight's over, by the way.
Get away from me! Oh, why are you chasing me? Get away from me!
Everybody just fucking calm down.
As Joe apologizes. A bit late, Joe. It's a bit late. A day later, I presume, it turns out Nishi has officially passed and Joe didn't, which isn't a surprise.
1 hour later.
And this time, Joe actually gets his license. Sometimes you're big. While Joe finds out Rikishi is fighting on TV. Rikishi once again winning because it's Rikishi. The man shits lightning and fucks bears. But Joe getting his first professional boxing attire. Beautiful. Oh my god, Nishi, put that away.